where the number of migrants apprehended has been in decline since Title 42 expired on Thursday. While fears of an influx built up ahead of the policy's expiration, the numbers so far tell a quite different story. The Secretary of Homeland Security confirmed yesterday border encounters have dropped, but he did warn it's too early to tell whether the immigration surge has peaked. Joining us now from El Paso, Texas, is NBC News correspondent George Solis. George, good morning. Great to see you. So give us a sense there. These numbers have taken a lot of people by surprise. It's probably too soon to draw large conclusions, but what are you seeing there in El Paso?
Yeah, good morning, Jonathan. And that drop in numbers is what's causing some anxiety here among some of the shelters that have been housing a lot of these migrants that have made it through those ports of entry. They say they wonder if that surge will ever come. Meanwhile, like you see behind me, there are still migrants that are arriving to border towns and they are sleeping on the sidewalk. Mind you, a lot of the people that you see behind me are men, as the women and children are in the church behind me. That being said, there are still people coming in daily. And so many of them are still trying to find out where they are going to go next. So some of them, unfortunately, including those families, have no choice but to sleep on the sidewalks. We can't say things have remained peaceful out here. Everyone seems to mind their own space. I had a number of conversations with a number of these migrant families who tell me the trip that they have taken is perilous. Many of them taking this trip over years, months, all of them saying they heard about the expiration of Title 42, and some of those whispers in their countries basically forced them to make that drastic decision to take matters into their own hands, whether or not to come here and risk entry, risk being detained, and risk being deported. So those that have made it here, that made it before Title 42 expired, said they are now awaiting their court dates. And many of them have had some success navigating that CPB-1 app. But many of them tell me it has been an absolute nightmare. They say they cannot get appointments. If they do get appointments, they're scheduled miles and miles away. And some of those court dates before a judge are not until 2024, 2025, and I've heard in some cases as far as 2030. So it's clearly a system that they are still trying to navigate. And many of them are now trying to understand the new rules for entry, because many of them fear that if they are now caught entering the country illegally, they may not be able to seek asylum for the next 5 years. So this is a heavy decision that weighs on a lot of these families. And again, kind of going back to what I just said about some of the conversations, we spoke with one mother who was at a port of entry, and she actually went into labor. She had her baby here in the U.S., that child and that mom safe, but they are staying here at one of the welcome centers. That child is only 15 days old. At one point, she told me she actually thought she had lost the baby when she had tripped on the journey. Spoke with another couple who said their 4-year-old grandson was detained and separated from them at the border. So they are still here. They want to get to Dallas, but they will not go until they are reunited with that child. So again, some of the stories and some of the harrowing journeys we are hearing here along the border. Jonathan?
Not just numbers, but real human stories. Live from El Paso, Texas, NBC's George Solis. Thank you for your reporting.